Osemuagu. Good morning and welcome to the program.
Amechi, good morning, and good morning, dear listener. It's the last day of September 2022 and the vigil of Nigeria's independence, 1st of October. Amechi, so many issues in the political parties. Let me start from the Peace Pact. Kudos to former President Goodluck Jonathan, who allowed the Peace Committee to stand in 2015. You remember that was the beginning of a peace committee and peace pact, which has sustained up till now. And when there is peace, there's development. And there's a saying that you can take a horse to the river, but you cannot force it to drink. We hope that these horses that we taken to the river, they'll be forced to drink peace when they go. They
willingly
drink
from the waters of peace.
Very well. And not taking it away from the members of the committee, they are men of character. And if you see men of character officiating something like this, you have to align yourself to ensure that peace reign from states, federal, and local government. I mentioned the crisis in APC is one too many. Some persons will tell you that, are you sure they are not having a staggering start to their campaigns? Their convention was shifted, the naming of their running mate was shifted, the list of their candidates shifted, the presidential candidate not available to sign the peace pact. So I would advise the committee to leave that space where Tinubu is supposed to sign for him to come back and sign it. Because if anything happens, he can go to court and say, I didn't sign any peace pact. I didn't sign it. Oh, well, yes, that is the truth, Amici. That space for the presidential candidate of APC should be left for him.
Okay,
his vice should not be the one signing it.
Did the running mate sign yesterday?
I saw them. I think the party chairman signed on
their
behalf.
They didn't sign. They didn't sign.
Well, if they didn't sign, when he comes back, he should go and sign.
So if the running mates were to sign, perhaps he would have signed on the two papers, but the candidates were the only one, Teve. Am I right? That signed. So a lot of people will say it is a joint ticket. For any reason, even in office, I'm talking of the reality, not the ideal. The reality is that even in office, the vice president will perform the functions as assigned to by the president, except two items that originally comes to him. He chairs the boundary commission and heads the National Privatization Council and sits over the National Economic Council. These are the three functions constitutionally the vice president does. Any other one is assigned to by the president. The president can ask the vice president to even chair the federal executive council of the federation meeting, what we call the federal executive council meeting. But what Nigerians are saying is that we have seen it before. Can we afford to see it again?
Major, good morning to you. Good morning, listener. Abulu, nobody is taking the peace pact to any court or anywhere, whether somebody will deny or not. It's just a moral responsibility.
A gentlemanly agreement.
As it were. Interestingly, it's by the rules of the peace committee, the committee or council. Committee. It's the candidate that signs. Nobody signs on his or her behalf. This is not the first time a candidate will not be signing. Recall in 2019, the then candidate of the PDP, now also candidate of the PDP, Atiku Abubakar, did not sign on the day it was supposed to be signed. Eze Kwesili, then also a presidential candidate, did not sign on the day it was supposed to be signed. But they all went to the Secretariat of the National Peace Committee to sign when they were available to sign. And that's what the Peace Committee is also making clear, that the space has been left available. Tinubu will have to visit.
So does that mean that Shettima did not sign yesterday?
He did not sign. He did not sign. That has been confirmed by.
So whenever he comes back from wherever he is,
yes, he would go to the Secretariat of the Peace Committee and sign.
Amici, in your opening, 2 days ago was the International Day for Missing Persons. And people are already saying somebody is missing.
Nobody is missing.
So it's part of celebration if somebody is missing actually. But we don't pray for anybody. We don't pray for anybody to be missing, because International Day for Missing Persons is celebrated worldwide, and we call on all this in charge of getting those in captivity to ensure that all those missing politically or otherwise are released. I mentioned quickly on the issue of the PDP. I want to say that if I have gotten that money, I will not return it. I don't know why those persons are running to return their money. They said it's a gift. If we can,
it's not a gift.
It's for 2 years. 2 years housing rent.
allowance.
Yes, good. If Governor Nelson Wike did not come on live TV to say 1 billion was given from somewhere, will these persons be returning this money, Amici?
That was an allegation that has not been substantiated.
Good, but where are they returning this money from?
No, they said what the explanation based on the letters that they wrote informing the party that they have returned the money is that since there's a media report suggesting that is
from the Nation newspaper,
yes,
by Yusuf Ali,
yes, our senior colleague, that they were compelled, they had to, in good conscience, return the money. But the party says these are money legitimately they meant for them. But the thing is that we have known how they smile to the banks. The party makes money from purchase of forms. We don't know how APC does its own. They collect billions in sale of nomination and expression of interest from. At least we now know how some of these monies are.
Are you sure?
Yeah,
Is it not part of the 1 billion that Wike is referring to?
Clearly, I don't think so.
I think we need IU to clarify this.
No, bribe money, you don't send it through the bank.
Teve's brother, is he in town
bank
now?
wires.
Teve's brother, is he in town?
You go to EFCC, they will tell you how corrupt politicians bribe themselves. They will change it to dollars and fiscally give
that
the
is
money.
why
So
that's why
everybody knows that if you send it through the bank wires, if it's legitimate money, it can easily.
that is why we shout on the high heel. Sorry, Teve, that EFCC and FIRS should put their searchlight
into their books,
because all this money you don't pay tax. 36 million. Maybe I should be a consultant to one of them. Maybe I will get part of it.
Or work yourself into National Working Committee of one of the major political parties.
It appears that Bulu is looking for missing persons this morning. You know, INEC recently raised an issue. It said the political parties, including the major ones, have not filed their audited accounts. That is an indictment, it's clear. And I mean, the politics in the housing allowance, the return and not return, is those who have returned are said to be those who are pro-Wike in the National Working Committee.
Clearly, those who have returned.
Yeah. So those who have not returned, we're not sure whether they have collected their own or they have not. And when this money was paid, was it after the 1 billion naira issue was raised, or So these are some of them. And don't forget,
let the anti-corruption agencies investigate.
You know, so
let them investigate to the fullest.
A lot of issues there. Let me get back to the peace committee. One, apart from the issue of having a non-violent election, the committee is also saying we should have issue-based campaign. We discussed that the other time. Some of us are of the opinion that it's relative. But I think that that committee should also take as part of its responsibility, or maybe one of the clauses to be included in that agreement, that the candidates will participate in organized debates, so that those issues.
Because as it were, from body language, you can bet that some people.
Most of them will definitely not be at any debate.
Tinubu's body language suggests that he may not. But he may want to disappoint some people like us.
You know, so if it's in that part of the clause that they have signed, clearly, they will be under moral responsibility to attend. And the other issue is, I'm not so comfortable that there are very few women in that committee. Bishop Kuka, Cardinal Naikon, and Abdul Salami and the rest. Please do something about it. They recently added Otedola and Co. Let's get more women. Our friend Ms. Hidayat Hassan is part of it. Let's get more women into that.
Mrs. Hidayat.
Into that committee.
The professors are there. Professor Teve is there. So we can.
So Teve, women's rights activist. What's the name of the only female presidential candidate?
Princess somebody, APM, from APM.
Somebody.
Princess Chinyere, I think.
Somebody is not
from APM.
But the takeaway from that peace pact is what President Goodluck Jonathan did in 2015. Immediately after that election, I traveled to some countries across the world, and each time, and even when foreigners come into Nigeria, when I strike conversations with them, what they always refer to was that phone call, that concessionary phone call, is unprecedented in Africa and in Nigeria. For what I took away was that they never expected that a sitting president can show that magnanimity, if it's that, or adherence to our laws, as it were, in accepting defeat, and not just accepting defeat, saying, I will not challenge the outcome in a court of law. So that is the spirit. Do the present crop of politicians have that attitude? They have to find it. They have to go all out, dig deep in their heart to unearth it, going into this election, to show that peace attitude that, yes, I'm not saying if there is a clear case of violation of rights and electoral fraud, but at the end of it all, think of our country.
Clearly, I mentioned one iconic picture from that signing is that when Goodluck Jonathan also hugged Muhammadu Buhari at the time. Every time you go online, you see that. And
were there hugs yesterday?
I can't.
Handshake.
You can see the front pages of the papers where you see a whole lineup of 18 of them and their party chairman.
17.
You know, even the vice president, the running mate of the APC was part of it. So clearly that's what we are looking at. But one good thing also is this signing of a peace pact seems to be an indigenous thing that is perhaps unique to Nigerian democracy.
That we have to export to the rest
of the world. Others will have to learn from
Okay.
us.
No, I want to.
Let's before you come in, Abulu, let's take you to the ASU strike. The Speaker of the House of Representatives met with senior government officials yesterday. The Accountant General, the Minister of Labor and Employment, ASU delegation, they are trying to find a way out. IPPIS and UTAS. It appears federal government is concessioning, pulling back, saying we can rework IPPIS to accommodate the peculiarities of ASU's demand. But beyond that, that is good move. It appears as a breakthrough. But let's take you to Calabar in Cross River State. The local ASU chapter there, since this strike has been on for about
7 months.
7 months, they have lost 10 of their members. 10 of their members passing on. Is it normal? Could it be related to this ASU strike? And we believe we should upscale what is happening in Calabar to a national discourse. And we are joined now by the local chapter president of ASU in the University of Calabar, Dr. John Edo. Thank you, sir, for joining us.
Yes, good morning, Repa.
So can you confirm to us that is it 9 or 10 of your members have died since this ongoing ASU strike?
Yeah, since the commencement of our patriotic industrial action for the rescue of the soul of education in Nigeria, 10 of our members have died. Of these 10, 6 are professors, while the other 4 are PhD holders who have not attained the professorial cadre yet.
No, is this normal? Is this the normal death rate within the community?
No, it's not a normal death rate. It's not a normal death rate that within 7 months we lose 6 professors and 4 other PhD holders. This is not normal. It's unprecedented.
So can you point at any reason why this is happening?
Well, we have just made some inferences. While we were not staffed, while our salaries were not withheld, we did not see this rate of death. So one can simply infer that apart from the fact that it is God that gives life and it is God that takes it when He would wish, the starvation, the starvation policy deployed by the federal government against our people when backing on an action that was actually provoked by federal government's failure to implement agreement with our trade union is connected to the death of our people.
Okay, can you quickly tell us how some of them died? Did they die due to starvation, or were they ill before the strike began? Or did they die in the hospital because of lack of medication? Or did they just stand and collapse because they've not eaten for 7 months?
No, the circumstances of their death would naturally vary. And I have not had the need to request for an autopsy from medical experts for each of these diseased persons as to be able to safely answer this question.
How are you coping without salaries?
It's been hell. It's been hell, and it is also it is unimaginable. It is incredible that federal government would deploy the tactic of starvation, even in the rules of war, where there is war between armies of one camp and another camp. It is against the rules of war to deploy the strategy of starvation.
Is it rules of war or the provisions of the Trade Dispute Act that says the principle of no work, no pay?
Yes. Now, the principle of no work, no pay has scenarios where it applies. It has scenarios where it applies. Number one, what necessitated this action? What is it that necessitated this action? It is the failure of the federal government to implement agreements it reached.
Okay, quickly. Now, I'm afraid probably you have more sickness and more death, probably, God forbid, because federal government has said they want to use IPPIS for you. Whether you like it or not, they will accommodate your demand. We know very well that one of your demand is the adoption of UTAS. So what is the union thinking going forward if federal government is sticking to IPPIS?
No, I didn't hear them. I didn't hear them say whether we like it or not. Rather, what I heard the head of service say, the Accountant General of the Federation say yesterday was that they were going to see how to accommodate the peculiarities, the concerns, the issues that ASU has raised about the IPPIS.
Exactly.
I mean, yes, we are not just saying IPPIS will be because it was worse. That is not our problem. Is let it respect the autonomy of the university.